Hello everyone, this is the last installment of my 2022 Continental Divide Trail video series covering days 6 and 7. Days 8 through 10 we're traveling back with an extra rig cleaning day before heading back to the real world. For this section of the full border-to-border trail, we made it from the Canadian border down to just short of West Yellowstone before we had to head back home. Day 6 had us picking back up where we left off in Granite Creek, traveling south through Butte and Basin Creek, and continuing to Medicine Lodge Creek. Let's pick it up from the inside of my Jeep. We are starting day 6 of the epic Western U.S. Continental Divide Trail overlanding trip. Day 6 of 10. We stayed on top of a mountaintop last night. We watched some fire planes soar overhead to dump fire retardant on some new fires popping up over near Helena, here in the Helena National Forest. It was a little warm last night, but overall pretty darn good. So today we're pushing another 100 miles or so to get to the next series of campgrounds. Barring any large mechanical issues, we should be plenty good to go. Interesting finds of yesterday. We did a lot of traveling through what apparently, to me, I'm going to call it this, the high Montana cattle land. We kept running in, not physically running into, but coming across a lot of cattle, a lot of mother cows with calves walking down these little forest roads. And we had a new addition to all the Jeeps yesterday, having to run through cow pies, blowing up cow pie over the sides of the Jeeps. So that was fun to let that dry over the course of the day, then flick it off with a stick. So that was kind of cool. Other than that, pushed hard yesterday, got about 100, almost just over 100 miles in, so we're looking to do the same thing today. See what today has in store. All right, I will catch you on the flip side.
I mentioned on some of the other videos in this series that one of the cool things I was able to do was to be the offshoot guy, meaning that with the smaller JKU, I was the one who got to shoot up trails like this to see where it went. This one was fun as I could shoot up with a bit of speed, but it was just a campsite up here on top. Most of the day so far was in the forest, but this was the first time we saw the valley open up that would be traveling through most of the rest of the day. I just loved how it opened up like this. The mountains in the back, still some trees here or there, but just kind of dropping into the valley.
Picking up after lunch break, day 6.
Garmin says we did 69 miles, but my truck says we did 82.6 miles.
That's pretty funny. We each had 2 to 4 different devices helping us navigate this trail, as they were all incomplete by themselves, and we kind of like to explore a little off the path ourselves anyway. Most of the valley travel was on these gravel roads at 30 to 40 miles an hour. That was pretty fun to lay some miles down. It was actually pretty hot and dry, 80s and 90s, so we were spaced out pretty far to manage that dust. Did you see that cow? As we pulled into our dispersed campsite for the night, looking back on day 6, there were a lot of miles covered, cows discovered, and cow pies demolished. Pretty full day, so we cooked up some dinner and quickly hit the rack. As I pull in here, the campsite we found was between 2 larger hills. While it sheltered us a bit from a little weather that came through that evening, the wind tunnel effect was pretty notable. Glad I was sleeping in my Jeep that night.
We are at the start of day 7. A little windy last night. Some people didn't get any sleep last night. I was not one of those people. I slept pretty well. Nice brisk morning, and we hear what sounds like 1,000 head of cattle down the road, so we're going to give them a little time to clear out. And we found this little trail at the back of the dispersed camping area that we stayed in last night. That seems to be open, and it goes up to the top of a ridge. So we're going to jump in here and see what this is all about. See if there's anything to.
Day 7 started off just like that. A few tired campers, but an exciting public, but mostly unmapped, little adventure trail off into the mountains. With all those cattle approaching, we took off and spent a couple hours exploring that first. So eventually we started our day here in Medicine Lodge Creek, and then headed through Caboose Canyon, just wait for that one, and then meandered our way to Idaho and Red Rock Pass outside of West Yellowstone.
Alright boys, that's it for us. This pole says ATV.
As we were going back up into the adventure trail, we were mostly facing the sun, increasing elevations, and hearing rocks chirp under our wheels constantly. Going back was a totally different experience, seeing views like this open up. Just amazing. Okay, so at the start of day 7, I mentioned Caboose Canyon. As we were coming out of the valleys and weaving through some of these hills here, I saw the park sign out of the corner of my eye and shot off the road to check it out. Naturally, I had turned off my GoPro and only remembered as I came to a choke point that I knew the gladiators in the group couldn't make, so I started backing out. This canyon was beautiful. It was 20 degrees cooler inside. There was some standing water and plants, flowers, trees everywhere. Looking at the overhead map when I got home, it opened up right after that choke point to a campsite you could rent, but we couldn't have made it through, so we kept going.
We're in the town of Lakeview.
Glad they preserved this.
This is an old town. It looks like most of the original buildings are here. I think this is either Lakeview, Montana or Lakeview, Idaho. I don't know what state we're in right now.
I'll pull over just out of town and you can grab a picture of that wagon.
We found our dispersed camping site for the night just outside of West Yellowstone on Red Rock Pass. Now Les sent me down a trail to check it out, and other than what looked like some old cow pies, there was an entire field for us to spread out in, so I gave the green light. We get in, we get set up. Maybe 10 minutes after dinner stoves were running, we start hearing the mooing. Annoyed mooing. We're in a public land pasture, and there are cows walking among the trees. They didn't bother us, we didn't bother them, but it was hilarious, as there was one calf in particular that was adamant that we knew that he was there with his mooing every few minutes, all night long. And that's a wrap. The next morning, after some mechanical issues surfaced, we had to make a choice between continuing down the original plan for another 2 days around Yellowstone and the Tetons, but there was no good way to find help or eject out of the trail if those issues got worse, so we all broke camp and went our separate ways. But believe me, we're going to continue this adventure soon. If you liked what you saw, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to see more trips coming soon.